Hey there, everyone. I wanted to do another quick book review or another book I just finished, The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So I heard about this book a few times on YouTube from some booktubers like Read with Cindy. And I actually was really interested by it by the comps of this book being described as a Cinderella story meets the Knives Out, the movie. And I really loved Knives Out, and I like a good mystery. So I decided to give this book a shot. Now, there's things that I really liked about this novel, and there's things that I really did not. But I will go over it as quickly as I can. So just as a brief synopsis, we have Avery, who is the main character. She was orphaned really young and was taken in by her half sister, Libby. And she is a very bright, intelligent girl. She basically does well enough in school just so that she can get by. She's extraordinarily intelligent, but she doesn't overextend herself. She just does what she has to do to survive. So she's called into the principal's office one day and she essentially is told by the grandson of a billionaire that, hey, my grandfather recently passed away and you are expected to be at the reading of his will because you were named in that will. So she's confused because she has no idea who this man is, who has the name of Tobias Hawthorne. But essentially, she's told that his dynasty is worth billions. He's an extremely powerful man, probably one of the most richest men in Texas, and that she is being requested to be at this reading, at this will reading. So both her and her sister are kind of taken for a loop, and Libby and Avery at this point are not doing exactly well. Libby has a boyfriend that is abusive, and Avery tries to intervene with this relationship but is unsuccessful. So she ends up moving out and is essentially living in a car. So their situation is pretty dire. So they decide just to go anyways, even though Avery has a lot of suspicions. They go to the will reading, and it turns out that there's at least four grandsons and other family members that are at the will reading, yet essentially the most of the family is disinherited. They're not really given that much money, and the vast majority of it is given to Avery. So it turns out that she will be allowed to inherit billions of dollars and essentially own his estate. The Tobias Hawthorne. But the stipulation of the will is that she has to live in the Hawthorne house or the Hawthorne mansion for a year amongst these people in order to collect her inheritance. And that's really when the story kicks off. And normally in that situation, that's going to be pretty scary because you, as an outsider, having no idea why this man has selected you to inherit his entire estate and his entire life's earnings, and you're living amongst family members who essentially got nothing, and you're being told that you have to live amongst them. And that would be pretty scary, and you probably fear for your life. And then, of course, you have to also contend with people coming out the woodwork wanting their share of the cut. So things just continue to progressively get weirder. And this Tobias Hawthorne, this grandfather, has a very creepy mansion that has a lot of puzzles and riddles to be solved. So it becomes a game. It becomes a game that Avery wants to win because she has no clue and feels like she's in over her head. But because she's intelligent, because she's wise and cunning, she gets herself involved in this game alongside the grandsons who were raised in this environment, who also know what their grandfather is like. And it's a very interesting premise. It does have a lot of callbacks to Knives Out, but I also think it kind of stands on its own as well. So the things that I really loved about this book was just that how high paced it was. You immediately got in to the action. I immediately took a liking to Avery, even though there were times where I was getting annoyed with her. But overall, I think she was just an interesting character to read from. I liked her perspective a lot. I liked her intelligence, and there are some few one-liners that she dropped in the book that I enjoyed as well. It's very fast-paced. It's about 370 some odd pages, and I was able to get through it relatively quickly. I like the riddles that were presented. I like the big mystery as to why this billionaire singled out Avery. And there's a lot of twists and turns, and I just enjoyed the slowly unraveling of this mystery and how she kind of keeps her head above water. And I kind of liked the four grandsons that were introduced to as some of the main players in the game, along with Avery as well. I thought they all had their own kind of unique personalities, and they weren't as cliche as the typical archetypes that you see in young adult. They kind of subvert them a little bit. That being said, the problems I did have with the book were more around the romance and the love triangle that they tried to incorporate in the story. And I know that's a staple for a lot of young adult novels, is that typically there's a love triangle, and it depends to me on how it's executed. But I just found that it was annoying and kind of slowed down the action, so to speak. I was much more interested in the mystery element of the games that were being played, and I was just more curious about getting to the main mystery. There's also a couple of side plots of another mystery as well, and I don't really want to give away too much spoilers about that, but the side plot mystery, I think I was supposed to be interested in as well, and it's supposed to add to the layers of everything that was happening. But yeah, I was kind of annoyed with how that was executed. I felt like some of the side plot mystery was anticlimactic in a way, and it just kind of soured me towards the end. But overall, it is a really fast-paced read. I think I might give it like 4 stars out of 5. It's been interesting for me because I've had such a hard time in the past year or so to get really invested in books and read them quickly. Like, I find that I'm taking a lot more breaks. But recently I just been on this roll, and this book was probably the fastest that I've read. I literally got it like yesterday and finished it. So it is definitely a good read to get you out of a slump, and definitely I like the mystery. I'm probably going to pick up the second book of the series because I hear that there is going to be a second book that is companion to it. I mean, the mystery is solved for the most part, but I kind of wished for a little bit more. So I was saying like the subplot was kind of anticlimactic, and the resolution is for the big mystery is a little anticlimactic as well. But I feel like there's a lot that the author kind of held back because there is going to be a sequel. So I'm curious to see how that checks out anyway. So that's my long rambly review that I tried to keep short of the Inheritance Games. I enjoyed it. It was a good break from the books I typically read, and I'll definitely check out the second one. Anyways, thank you for watching. Peace.